Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the market, to as well as the daily market update show. Hope you guys had a great weekend, and let's get started. So we are going to be breaking down Nvidia due to the semiconductor is still leading the whole market because semiconductor sector is the fuel for QQQ, and QQQ is the fuel for the whole market. That's also holding SPY up. So I'll give you guys support and resistance levels to look at and potentially guys play off of those, as well as what I'm currently thinking going forward in the market and what happened today. So today we have a couple of things we showed up, a little bit of bear volume, and so let's take a look at earnings. So we have the only earnings I'm looking at is AVGO, which is Broadcom, and we'll take a look at AVGO's chart in a very second. And that's an example of a blow off top. So that's the only one I'm looking at, and the rest I don't really care about that much unless you're playing these earnings. But if you are, then just take a look at those dates. And rate hikes is still the same. So since last week, we have a rate hike now. It's pricing for June, and the only thing I'm seeing differently is now that July second rate hike is starting to increase a little bit, which is a little bit out of the norm because just like 2-3 weeks ago, we were pricing a hold. This was going to be a cut, and now we're starting to price in a hike, and there's potential might be another hike. So yeah, so we'll need to see the CPI data. There's going to be one CPI data coming in right before the June hike, so that will determine how that hike will be, as well as the next hike coming in. So those data will be very important because Fed is now pretty data dependent. They can just hike or not hike depending on whatever they want now. And let's go to dark pool. Dark pool volume, we can see Nvidia is short from last week, two of the highest short volumes you've ever seen. And today, we don't have that data yet as market just closed. So, but we'll see those data tomorrow. So I want to take a look at AVGO. So AVGO, you can see this is an example of a blow off top. So you can see we have been running 50%. This is a mega cap stock. It's not like a penny stock where it just you only need like a couple $1 million to pump it, and this thing's in the billions. So once you have something like this where it's already running quite a bit, like it's pretty much at the high of its chart, and then you have three really big dates. It's just like this: 1, 2, 3, and then gaps up. That's a time to sell, and it's a really good time to play short as well. And especially when it gaps up on the third day, that's like the perfect short. So if we zoom in, you can see on the let's go to the 5 minutes. So after the open of people FOMOing from last week, so all over the weekend, and people are like, "Oh, I need to get into this semi AI tech space and all that." We ran 11% off the open in like 20 minutes. You can see 4 or 5 minutes candle, right? And that was it. This is essentially what it looks like on a blow off top, and meaning this is the last move, and there's just absolutely no buyers left. Even when we consolidate here, the size of this move should have made a bounce here due to how big we bounced here, how big this move was. The most likely scenario when we trade close to 50% was a setting a bounce here, but it didn't even bounce. That means there's absolutely no buyers in this level, and just sell. We're still selling, and went from 11% positive in a day to negative 1%. And you can see on the daily chart, it just looks terrible. Although just doing AVGO is at all-time highs, so there's no resistance prior history for us to even look at. So it's more for like price discovery. So as earnings on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. Let's take a look at Nvidia for now. And Nvidia. So I was talking about it on Sunday, where I did my Big Tech Sunday breakdown, where I break down Nvidia, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Amazon, and yeah, those six. And I was saying that we are very likely going to hit that 1 trillion mark, and probably sell off after due to hype of it brings in another wave of buyers right when we hit over 1 trillion. And I did a rough estimate, it was around 405. So we had another move up. So right when we hit, we gapped up, hit 1 trillion, brought more buyers in right in the morning. And same thing. It wasn't like a huge sell off like AVGO was Broadcom, where there's just no buyers left. But essentially, this is kind of the similar situation where people were foaming in the morning and we gapped up and made another 4% move. Let me see how much that would be. Let's see, from yesterday's close, 7.4%, right? And that was kind of it. We did have a bounce. That was the most likely scenario due to the size of this move. So we bounced, and then more sellers came in. And during the end of the day, I was looking at this on level 2, and you can see that 400 level just would not break. I was just like watching it over and over, and that psychological level becomes support. So you can see there's just a lot of selling going on, buying going on, and just it did not break at all, regardless of how many times sellers try. And but we did close at low of the day, so that's not as a good sign for the bulls. You don't want to see us closing low of the day, although we're green for today. So we'll see how tomorrow, if we do hold this 400 psychological level tomorrow or not. And if we don't, then the semi sector is going to be weaker due to it's been leading QQQ. It's already weaker today. So you can see XOXX, it's one of the semi sectors divided by QQQ. You can see we have a red candle here today, meaning the semi sector is weaker than QQQ itself. For the past 2 weeks, it's been stronger, and now it's taking a breather close to its height of stay, which makes sense. Testing the highs for 1 day, so there's no red flags yet due to just being 1 day. We'll see if it continues to be weaker or not tomorrow or later into this week. And if we do break 400, I'm looking back down to filling its gap, so it'll be back to 394.8. It's going to be the first level it's going to come down to test, and then it'll be this second candle. We don't have a lot of price action up here, so those are the only levels that we can pretty much look at other than psychological levels. And that's $1 trillion level that we broke. We went up, got buyers in, and now came back below $1 trillion. So I think that is what happened as well in back then when Apple hit $3 trillion, back when we were in a bull market in 2021, and that was essentially marked the top as well. So we'll see if this does as well. This candle's not looking that good, so we're potentially gonna, if break that 400, very likely 394 for sure. All right, so take a look at the market itself, buying QQQ. Let's go to QQQ first. So QQQ hit the monthly resistance. All right, I'll show you guys on the monthly chart. So this is a longer time frame, and I'm just gonna bring up the chart to just for more clear. Let's go with this one. QQQ monthly. Take that yen out. All right, so this is a monthly chart, and from A, the top of the move, to B, the bottom of the move, we have. I'm gonna redo that because A to B, we have retraced to that 0.618 level, and this potentially can mark the temporary top for us. And we got over it today, but we came back into it close right on top of it. So we are due for a little bit of consolidation. So before we see any red flags on the monthly chart, we need a weekly downtrend to confirm for us to say this is the monthly lower high set, meaning this high is lower than this high. So for us to say this is the top of the monthly lower high set, we need to go to the weekly chart. For that happen, we need to form a weekly downtrend, meaning the weekly chart needs to go down, set a lower high, meaning this high is lower than this high, and then break the prior low for that to be a confirmed weekly downtrend. If that happens, then that's the monthly lower high set. Don't have any of that yet, because for weekly to happen, we need a daily downtrend. So right now we don't have any. There's one day that gapped up and bears sold into the end of the day. That's it. We need a daily downtrend to confirm for us to have a weekly to confirm. So we don't have any of that yet. So just giving you guys a heads up for more of a long-term outlook, but we also need a 4-hour downtrend. We got our 1 hour. Yep, we got our 1 hour downtrend right here, but end of the day bounce. So there was not much follow through yet. You can see this is the hourly downtrend. So it set the lower high there, and just need to break today's low for it to continue. And this pivot, and this would be the resistance. That was the very, very first step the bears need to even show us, which they did. Now we have the hourly downtrend. So that's going to be continuing our guide. And it could just be a daily bull flag due to how much we have ran. And we're still in that 0.382 range. Yeah. So we are not even back to this level yet. So we can't say like the Bears did show up today, so they did their very first step, but we could still form a bull flag and potentially go higher. But as of now, that's all the information we got, and we have it did close close to low of its day, so that's a good sign for the Bears, and we'll just see if they can continue tomorrow. This is essentially what happened. So when you guys see a 3-day move, and a third day is the gap up, that's one of the very likely that it's going to sell off right when things open. So how you play it is you can play any sector you want, but essentially how it works is you play off of the pre-market high, and due to the third day, 2-day move, and the third day is the gap up, then you play put your stop loss above market high, give it a little bit of wiggle room, and in short. So if it does break above, then you get stop loss with a small loss because your levels are really close to its where you're playing off of. If it doesn't, then you have a clear winner because due to the amount of bounces, we are so overbought on every time frame. Essentially, the psychology is like this. Okay, so we are overbought already just from this entire move here, and then we have another one huge move, 2 moves, and a 3-day move where we gapped up to it. That is a scenario where anyone would take profit off of. So that's why it's a good short to play off of the pre-market high, and especially if it's a gap up. If it's not a gap up, then it's not as likely it's gonna work. And so the third day gap up is the key. And so yeah, you wouldn't, if that happened, you did that today, you wouldn't even stop out from that pre-market high because we didn't even test it. Just bounced very close to it, and that was it. Didn't really like this part for the Bears. We broke through it and just did a V shape, but we did close to the lower of the day. So which is for the Bears, we got to see if they do follow through tomorrow with their hourly downtrend. And SPY is still very weak as well. We'll take a look at that in a second. And so yeah, that 0.618 monthly area, it's a bit coincides with this cluster of area of resistance. So we'll see if that actually marks the temporary top or not. We need more bear actions to say that. We just gotta be cautious due to the size of the move that's already moved, and don't want to chase markets after being too overbought for sure. All right, let's take a look at SPY. SPY continuing to be this rising wedge, which is other than this day, which we came out of it and then came back into it on the next day. Still a good visual guide. So you can see we pretty much hit the top of there just today, and that was it. Same thing over here, same thing over here, same thing over here, same thing over here, and support, support, and support down here as well. So resistance. It's pretty clear visual guide for me. I don't play off of it, but it's just a good overall guide for us to look at. So SPY, we need to hold above this cluster range due to the amount of volume that's been traded in this area. We just keep coming back and forth, back and forth. And if QQQ decides to take a breather, just like last week, look how much we sold off just from that couple of days, right? We came back all the way into this 3-month cluster. If you're once we've broken out of there, and QQQ decides to take that breather, just this little blip. You know, QQQ's been running crazy, and it's like, okay, I need a break. So it takes a little blip, and look what happened to SPY. It fell, gave back all its gains from those 3 days, and we dropped. So are we going to see that again over here? We'll see if QQQ decides to take a breather tomorrow, and how much this is going to pull back or not. Because XLV, healthcare sector, is still very weak, and financial sector has also been weak as well for many weeks. So, and they're not really joining QQQ at the moment. And we did on 1 or 2 couple of days, but those don't really matter that much because stocks move in waves. They don't just drop off a cliff. So XLV, drops a lot and decides to take a breather, bounce a little bit. Obviously, it's going to help SPY as well, just like QQQ going up a lot, takes a breather, and we'll see. So my next resistance will be have today due to us testing the bottom of this range, this cluster of this range. So we'll see if SPY will continue to be able to stay above that level or not. And we were above it in the morning. We gap up, same scenario with QQQ, and then just sold off. So you can see it's a little bit weaker than QQQ due to this sell-off. Starting to look a little bit. Let me see if it's a head and shoulders. Give me a second. On the hourly, I don't like it. It's like, it does kind of look like a head and shoulders, but it's not that clear. Yeah, you could say, but essentially the head and shoulders psychology is just a uptrend turning to a downtrend. So it was an uptrend, and then all of a sudden now it's a downtrend, meaning, but we need to confirm. We need to break low today for that to confirm the hourly downtrend. All right, that's all I got for you guys, and for today and tomorrow. I'll update you guys again on the daily market. So feel free to subscribe if you made it this far, as well as if you got any questions, feel free to comment below. And have a good rest of you guys' day. And I'll see you guys around.